Joe, a big-time matchup in the Big 12, Utah and Oklahoma State, that came down to the wire. A lot of people thought it wouldn't, but the fourth quarter, Oklahoma State came roaring back and scored 16 points in the fourth quarter. But Utah, with a backup quarterback, yet again, is able to hold on and beat Oklahoma State at their place. Your thoughts on the game?
I'm extremely impressed by the ability of Utah to still find a way to win this game despite having to turn to Isaac Wilson. And look, Wilson's a young player. There's plenty of time for him to improve and get better, but man, he made some brutal decisions. He could have had more than just the 2 interceptions that he had. I have to give a ton of credit to what we talked about in the preview, like really being true in this game. They're absolutely in the driver's seat for the Big 12. We're never going to know when Cam Rising's ready to come back because they're going to play this stupid guessing game every single week. Oh, Cam Rising, it's a game time decision. Psych, he's not playing. So we're not going to get an answer there. They're in the driver's seat because one thing's very true. Their defense is like nothing you're going to see in the Big 12. They are fantastic in their secondary. Their defensive line's very physical. Their linebackers are great. And they run the ball possibly better than anybody in the Big 12. Bernard had a hell of a game. That kid is a tank. He is impossible to tackle. He runs hard as hell. And I love running backs who run the football like that. I'm buying stock in Utah. I think Utah is definitely going to be that Big 12 representative, especially after Kansas State laid an egg against BYU.
Yeah, so I think you bring up an interesting point because, Joe, I don't know who they're going to face that's going to test them to the level where
Right.
they don't get into a playoff. Here's the thing. Here is the biggest stat coming from this game. Utah had the ball for 42 minutes and 26 seconds.
That's nuts.
The time of possession was Utah that had the ball 42 minutes and 26 seconds. By the way, Cam Rising isn't playing. So they're
even crazier.
Which is even crazier. Now, Dorian Singer saved Isaac Wilson multiple times. Dorian Singer had a hell of a game for Utah.
Yes.
Ungodly catches that he had in this game. But Bernard, man, 25 carries, 182 yards. They kept the ball away from Oklahoma State, and they played good defense, and they held the ball. I mean, it almost got them beat, but look, man, I mean, they found a way to win on the road in a tough environment. So, again, when you go into this is how you're going to play football, Joe, I don't know who will test them. Do they play BYU? Oh, are you looking at their schedule? Do they play BYU? Maybe would be
they do play BYU later on.
Maybe the only team that can kind of mess with them.
But they get them at home, so that's to Utah's benefit that they don't have to travel to BYU. The only other team that's left on their schedule that like really scares me is Iowa State. Like I'm not threatened by the rest of the schedule. I was smirking though because I didn't realize they had 52 rushing attempts. That's insane. 52 rushing attempts?
Well,
that's almost double the amount of passing attempts that they took in this game. That's insane.
It was brilliantly coached. Can I tell you why?
Yes.
Because five times on third down, they would run the ball from 3rd and 6 out or more. Think about this. On third down, they were 5 of 18. So highly inefficient on third down. Here's the problem, Joe. They were 4 of 5 on fourth down. So when we talk about – so we just got done talking about Michigan beating USC. What did they do? They lined up and run the football and play good defense. Well, what did Utah do? If we're going to gain 4 yards every run, so what happens on third down? We're going to play the analytics of giving the ball to Bernard, holding on to the football, and if they can't get it and they can't score, we're going to win the football game. Here's the only thing. You brought up Iowa State. Iowa State has the athletes on the outside and the quarterback play with Rocco Becht that can give them issues. When Oklahoma State did have the football, the receivers did have a lot of separation and did some really good things. But, I mean, Joe, it's the most Utah thing that I've ever seen. They Utah'd themselves yesterday. It's the most Utah thing ever, man. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. They just 52 rushing attempts is insane, dude.
I'm just like my biggest main thing with Utah, because it's what we always talk about with them. how they play their style of football and the way that they played in this game. I'm really curious to see how much better they get once Cam Rising is like healthy. And maybe that never happens. Maybe that never comes to
fruition. Can I really interrupt you and ask you this question?
Don't ask about him being injury prone because I just
Joe, he's got a problem with his throwing hand.
Yeah.
I mean, my honest question becomes, like, what do they look like with him?
I mean, they're gonna be vastly better because the issues
he can't grip a football with his throwing hand right now.
Well, yes, we don't know the timetable for him to come back. That's what is going to be problematic for them and problematic for whoever they face. But the issues that they had offensively trying to throw the football were timing issues, decision-making issues. What do we commend Cam Rising for being good at? It's being a really good decision maker, being really accurate. So if this game ends up being as close as it was because Oklahoma State scraps their way back into it, imagine how lopsided it would have been if Cam Rising played.
Yeah. Well, he didn't. And then in reality, Joe, there's a reason that they're not playing him. And I think he's not as healthy as maybe it was led on. And I don't.
He definitely wasn't as healthy as led on. Whittingham has done this for so long, and he's going to keep doing this.
My problem is, Joe. Though if it were his non-throw, just stay with me. You think I'm pulling on the kid? I'm not. If it was his non-throwing hand, to be real with you, I wouldn't be worried. Because
obviously,
when you go under center, even, which is what they do a lot. Okay, it being his throwing hand, he goes under the center with his throwing hand there. I think the big thing is that they were worried that he was going to take so many hits with the football coming back that the constant pounding on his hand was going to be a problem. I really do believe that. I think the kid is hurt more than we even realize. But if you can win football games like that, man, then more tip power to you. Thoughts on Oklahoma State?
Run game is extremely pathetic. I mean, like, I'm not even going to mince words here. I don't know what the hell they're trying to do running the football. They have no capability to get Ollie Gordon going. Look, none of that goes on Ollie Gordon. None of this goes on Ollie Gordon because the times when he gets the ball in space, he's making plays. This goes on Gundy. This goes on the coaching staff. Why can't you get the run game going? Why? It is beyond mind-boggling that they can't figure out ways.
They put 7-8 guys in the box, and they went man-to-man coverage, and they said, "Beat us through the air."
But I'm not taking a victory lap. But I told you so a little bit about that offensive line. But to quickly move past that, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not trying to be a dick.
They got to be able to line up and throw the football and not turn the football over. That's on Bowman.
Well, that was another thing that I brought up a ton in the offseason why I wasn't bought in on Oklahoma State is that in the event that teams are saying, you know what, we're not going to let Ollie Gordon beat us, throw the ball on the outside, I didn't trust Alan Bowman to not make mistakes. He is still the same player he was 3-4 years ago. He has not improved his ability to make consistent plays when he's taking shots. That interception where it looked like he threw it and he was trying to lead the Utah defensive back on the sideline is a perfect example of that. He does not have the touch, the timing, any of the things necessary for them to win in those spots. And he's such an older quarterback.
And they pulled him.
And then they brought him back into the game. It's just they're in such a detrimental passing situation that their run game is just so completely cooked. I don't even know how you fix these issues, but it's really lame and pathetic that Ollie Gordon's season has started the way that it has.
They need to slow things down offensively. They got to. I think that their issue with Arkansas, they were going too fast. I know that that's what they want to do. Why are you going so fast when you have comms in the helmet? Why?
It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, let me ask you. We talked about Tennessee earlier. Tennessee was as hurry up and up to the line as possible. What are they doing? Tennessee's completely slowed themselves down. Joe, they're not the same team. By the way, I know we hadn't talked about Ole Miss. You know who else is doing it? Ole Miss. Joe, Ole Miss went through a huddle. Tennessee went to a huddle. What are you doing? This loss is specifically on Gundy. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Because you knew that they were going to line up and just run the ball and keep the ball away from you. And you were having really good success getting the ball out quickly to your receivers. By the way, they're slow. Defensively, I think their front seven's fine, but they're slow. I don't know how else to say it. And Joe, you say it's not on Ollie Gordon. I call a little bit of bullshit. He's missing too many pass protections. Alan Bowman got absolutely destroyed twice on the plays that I saw on passing plays. One where he threw a pick that Ollie Gordon wishes that he was anywhere else on the planet Earth than protecting his quarterback's blind side. That's on Ollie Gordon. So we can blame everybody else, but when your quarterback's getting hit and it leads to a pick, that's on your ass, not anybody else's.
All right, I can't disagree with that. I mean, it's fair. I'm just saying him in just general as
I understand what you're saying. When he gets the ball, he's interested. When he's not, he's all hungo. Oh, I'm Ollie Gordon. Well, Ollie Gordon, guess what? If you don't block and you don't do your assignment, your team's going to get their asses whipped. Now you have Kansas State, who, by the way, got blown out Diddy style by BYU. Okay.
All right. You're loving these Diddy comments a little too much.
I guess so. But you get my point. You can redeem yourself. That's all I'm going to say.
BetOnline remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, NHL are all in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for 50% off your first deposit. That is a 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, where the game starts.